Welcome to the Legacy Women Network, a sanctuary for the woman who's done hustling from burnout, hiding her brilliance, or trying to do it all alone. I'm Jess, holistic therapist, business mentor, and founder of this sacred and soulful community. This is your space to show up fully, slow down with intention, and build a business and life that actually feels good, not just looks good on paper. Expect real talk, bold moves, and heart-led strategy from soul-led women creating positive change in the world. If you're ready to rise into your legacy without burning out or doing it all alone, you're exactly where you need to be. Let's dive in. Have you ever set a goal, felt motivated, and then found yourself procrastinating? Or maybe you finally had momentum, but you sabotaged it by overthinking, overgiving, or distracting yourself with busy work? The truth is, you're not lazy, you're not broken. What's happening is your subconscious mind is trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you safe. So many women beat themselves up thinking that sabotage means that there's something wrong with them. It means that they're weak or lazy or not cut out for success. But here's the truth. Sabotage is not you. It's not a character flaw. It is simply self-protection. Your subconscious mind is hardwired to keep you safe, and anything that feels uncertain or anything that triggers a belief that you're holding that reminds your body of a painful experience from the past is going to trigger your nervous system, your subconscious mind into protection patterns. So anything that feels uncertain, like visibility, money, success, setting boundaries, can all register as a threat if your nervous system doesn't feel safe. So as I said, that could be that you've had a negative experience or you're holding a negative belief around those things, or you're simply just growing and you're pushing your edges and you're doing new things that you haven't done before. So that can trigger those protection patterns as well. And I know this very well because I've lived it. And for years, I sabotaged everything, my relationships, my business, my happiness. On the outside, I looked like I had it all together. But inside, I was anxious, I was full of doubt, I was constantly blocking myself from the very things I said I wanted. Let's think of it like a duck floating on the water. On the top of the water, I looked like I had it all together. I was smooth sailing, but underneath, the legs were kicking and frantic, right? So it wasn't until I started learning about trauma-informed education, nervous system regulation, and subconscious reprogramming that I actually realized sabotage is not a flaw. It's your mind and your body just doing their best to try and keep you safe. So most sabotage actually comes back to beliefs and patterns formed very, very early on in your earliest experiences, primarily from 0 to 7. So if you grew up maybe feeling like love was conditional, that you had to achieve to receive love, maybe that you felt like you had to look a certain way, or that your needs didn't matter. It may have even been beliefs that you took on from your parents about money and scarcity, that there's never enough money available. Maybe it's their judgment they showed around successful people and the criticism of successful people. And so it's these experiences that cause you now to procrastinate, to avoid, to maybe quit before things get too good. You know, if you don't see things through to the end, then you can't fail, right? Because deep down, your body thinks, if I shine too brightly, I'll lose love. If I slow down, I'll be unsafe. If I succeed, I'll be alone. I'll be rejected. I'll lose love. I'll be criticized. These are the beliefs and the experiences that drive sabotage. Even when on a conscious level, you want something else. You know you want your desires. You're like, of course I want $10,000 a month. Of course I want that house, beachfront house. Of course I want that nice car. But your body might believe that if you go for success, then you'll burn out. Maybe you saw your parent fail in business and the family fell apart. Maybe you saw your auntie or uncle criticize your parent who was in business. Maybe they got successful and then lost it all. So these are just some of the examples of the experience that can now drive your sabotage. So here's some tangible examples of what I like to call self-protection actually looks like potentially in your life today. You might set a big goal, but avoid taking action because you're waiting until it's, quotation marks, perfect. You finally launch something and then disappear instead of promoting it. As I said, if you don't fully see things through, you can't fail, right? You avoid potential criticism. You avoid having to feel the hard feelings that you'll have to feel if you don't produce the success that you had in mind or the outcome you had in mind. Or you might fill your calendar with everybody else's needs, so there's no space left for your own, and you're left at the end of the day feeling absolutely exhausted and you just fall on the bed. Maybe you're running through your days just fueled off caffeine, not listening to your body, maybe holding on and not even going to the toilet, maybe saying yes to clients. Oh yes, I'll squeeze that session in, when your body's like, hell no, I'm desperate for rest. I'm desperate for play. I'm desperate to just receive and slow down. But your body's like, hell no. Like there's another part of you. So there's a part that's like, please slow down. And then there's another part that's driving the show that's like, no, we must please. We must say yes, because I fear too much having to feel those uncomfortable feelings if I don't say yes, right? Because then we'll have to experience what we've experienced in the past. And as humans, we are either driven to avoid pain or driven towards pleasure. And in that case, you're wanting to avoid pain. So your body will do whatever it takes to not have to feel that. And so even though on a conscious level, you're like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep saying yes when I want to say no? And I know I need to rest, but there's something in you that just feels compelled. And then you might feel frustrated and resentful at yourself, lose trust in yourself, and therefore you lose confidence, because confidence comes from self-trust and putting yourself first and doing what you say you're going to do and keeping promises to yourself. So you've heard all this and you may have resonated with some or maybe even all of it, but you're probably wondering like, okay, cool, Jess, I've got all this awareness, but as we know, awareness is not enough. You may be someone who's binged all the podcasts, read all the books, or you might be a bit of a self-development junkie and you're still like, okay, cool, I got the awareness, but nothing's changing. And I'm frustrated because I keep staying in these cycles, in these patterns. So here's how to break the cycle in 3 steps. So step 1 is awareness with compassion. So there's a lot of us who have all the awareness, yet the awareness can fuel the expectations and the self-criticism. Because we're like, cool, I've got the awareness, and now why do I do this? And we're sort of berating ourselves and frustrated with ourselves, right? So step 1 is awareness with compassion. So now that you have the understanding and the reframe that it is not self-sabotage, you are just protecting yourself. Your mind and body, their primary objective is to protect you. So when you can look at it from that lens, you can tap into self-compassion. So instead of shaming yourself for sabotaging, instead of shaming yourself for protecting yourself, start noticing the pattern lovingly. Catch that voice that says, oh, I'll just do it later. Oh, no, I've got to do this washing now. No, cleaning up the kitchen or cleaning up the house is more important. Is it really? Or is it just a really good distraction? Maybe it's tweaking your website or going and doing some pretty Canva graphics. So step 1, have the awareness, right? And rather than criticizing yourself, just see it. Just see it for what it is. Oh, okay, right. I notice I'm doing this right now. Let's just get curious. What could I be protecting myself from right now? What am I protecting myself from having to feel? Or what do I believe is going to happen if I do the thing that I'm avoiding right now with this distraction? And can I have so much compassion and love for that part of me that's afraid of that? And then step 2 is create safety in the body. So create safety in your nervous system. I want you to pause. After getting that awareness, I want you to pause and just do a quick body scan and just notice, where am I feeling any tension, any anxiety, any feeling of rushing? Or maybe it's a feeling of being shut down, like procrastination, feeling maybe numb, disconnected, flat, unmotivated. And instead of pushing through and coming from a place of force, you need to pause and help your body to feel safe again. Because if we're in shutdown and we continue to push through, we're just going to push ourselves further and further down that hole, right? We're going to fall further and further down that ladder. We're not going to help ourselves climb back out of that ladder. We're going to keep falling down. And if you're the other state where you're too activated and you're feeling that real rushy, anxious, having all the anxious thoughts, if you go too long in that state, you're going to go and end up in shutdown as well, because your body can only sustain being in that over functioning, in that fight flight mode for so long before it'll send you into shutdown. So let's be proactive, right? And let's bring ourselves back into regulation so we don't end up in that place and we don't end up burnt out. So by pausing, we're actually able to come back into regulation and be able to come back to taking aligned action faster than by pushing through. And sometimes we can push through, and yeah, it works and, we're able to take action and achieve, but at what cost, right? At what cost? As I said, maybe it's saying yes and then feeling so burnt out and resentful with yourself and fracturing the relationship with yourself. Maybe it's to the point where you're so shut down that you can't take any action. And so it's only when your nervous system feels safe that you can finally take the aligned action without sacrificing your health, happiness, your well-being, right? And if you're thinking, well, okay, cool, how do I actually do this? Don't worry, I've got you. So at the end of this episode, I'm sharing a free guided practice that you can use any time at all that you need to create this sense of safety so you can finally move forward without sacrificing yourself. And step 3 is subconscious reprogramming. So this is where the real transformation happens. You can keep making your body feel safe in the moment so it feels safe enough that you can take the action. But the reality is these beliefs will continue to be triggered until you heal the root of the belief and the experience that created that belief. So we have to update these old beliefs and patterns so your subconscious supports your desires and you step into the beliefs that align with the woman that already has your desires, instead of your body constantly fighting and resisting and not feeling safe to receive. And that's why I use modalities like root cause therapy with my clients, so we can get to the root cause of these beliefs and rewire them to align with the version of you that already has it all and feels safe to have it all, feels worthy, feels deserving, and therefore is able to take that action consistently towards their goals. Because the truth is, willpower alone won't cut it. Willpower might last for a little while, but as I said, it comes with its consequences. Eventually, you're going to burn out. You're going to sacrifice your health, happiness, and relationships. Imagine it being effortless. Once you change your beliefs to align with the woman who already has it all, you will notice that you will not be constantly stuck in these cycles of procrastination, overgiving, overworking. You will be able to find balance. You will take good care of yourself. You won't be resentful with yourself anymore. You'll experience more ease, more joy. You'll show up better for your family, friends, clients. You'll have the best relationship with yourself you've ever had. And I'm not saying that fear's never going to come up. Absolutely, fear's going to come up, because when we're in the growth zone, as we should be, most of the time when we're a mission-driven woman and we're here to create our legacy, we should be constantly pushing our edges, and fear's going to come up. Yet it won't stop you from taking that action. And you will take that consistent action and you will know how to hold yourself through that fear and potentially through the void before your manifestation or your goal actually comes to fruition. So here's what I'd like you to reflect on today. What's one way you've been keeping yourself safe? You've been self-protecting, aka self-sabotaging. And instead of asking yourself, why do I keep doing this? You can ask, why is this part of me protecting itself? What's it protecting itself from? And can you bring so much love and compassion to that part, even before going and doing this self-regulation technique I'm going to give you? Even that will help soften so much. So I really hope that this has shifted the way that you think about self-sabotage. And as I said, having this understanding and this lens will automatically help you come to a more compassionate place, more understanding, and less self-criticism. So if this episode landed for you, I've created something to help you move through sabotage in real time. It's a free guided practice called Aligned Action Activation, designed to help your nervous system feel safe enough so you can finally take the action towards your goals that you've been putting off. Just DM me the word action on Instagram and I'll send it straight through to you. This episode lit up something in you. I'd love it if you'd hit subscribe, share it with a sister, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find this space and rise alongside us. You can connect with me over on Instagram at @byjessicak, or learn more about the Legacy Women Network membership through the link in the show notes. See you next time.